Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming to my presentation. Unfortunately, I'm not here. I'm now leaving for my duty trip to Pakistan. I'm possibly between Vienna and Dubai now. So, I have prepared some files to give presentation remotely. Anyway, I hope you enjoy the story of our 40 days long journey to farthest down south. For the people who are not familiar with the geography of Antarctic region, here's a map of the region. Antarctic is at center. The area south of latitude of 60 degrees south is protected by the Antarctic Treaty and no one can claim the territory. Third Island, the southernmost island of the South Sandwich, where we went, is at 59.5 degrees south and might be the southernmost territory of UK. There are many islands of rare DXCC entities around 50 degrees south, like here's Hadron, Calgary, Crozet, Marion, Bouvet, and here's Macquarie here. And South Angeles, South Georgia is here from Falkland Island. Another map from another angle, South America at center. South Georgia, here, is located about 1,000 kilometers east-southeast of Falkland. Falkland here to here. And South Sandwich is 700 kilometers farther from South Georgia. Here's the South Sandwich, something like 700 kilometers from South Georgia. From Vienna, South Georgia and South Sandwich are very far to go. I started from Vienna in the evening of January 7th, and the transatlantic flight was 40 hours long. Then I arrived in the Buenos Aires in Argentina. Then I continued to Santiago de Chile and stayed out one night. We started again at 7 a.m. on January 9th to Falkland through the Punta Arenas at the southern part of Chile. And this flight is something like 6 hours. Then we got on board on Braveheart, the famous port for the number of the DXpedition, midday of January 9th to sail to South Georgia. To South Sandwich is another 3-day boat trip. Sea of this region is very rough, called roaring 40s, furious 50s, and screaming 60s. As there is no continent at the latitude, winds are always very strong and waves are always very high. Water is very rough and boat trips very tough. From the viewpoint of DXCC, South Sandwich is the number 3 most wanted DXCC entities before our DXpedition, and South Georgia is number 8 in the world, number 12 in Europe. Last DXpedition to there were in 2012. VP8THU made 27,000 contacts in South Sandwich, and VP8GEO made 44,000 in South Georgia. There were only 2 major DXpeditions to South Sandwich in the past, VP8SSI and VP8THU. And there are some other small activities by the Argentinian militaries when they have a military base on South Sandwich. Anyway, we got into Braveheart and started sailing at midnight or early morning of January 10th. Here the whole team, all of them looks full of energy before getting seasick. The crew of Braveheart was led by Nigel Jolly, the owner of Braveheart, who was awarded at DX Hall of Fame at Dayton this year. All of them have a lot of experience of the expedition, especially in Antarctic region. They also have a lot of the boat trip for the scientific research or filming for National Geographic Society and so on. The water was always rough like this. You can imagine how the life is. Some team members were almost dead during the boat trip because of the seasick, but some are not so bad. They activated Management Mobile during this trip and made 3,000 contacts. In the morning of January 14th, we finally saw the shape of South Georgia. Then custom officer stationed in South Georgia came to our board for custom check and passport control. All of us got the stamps of South Georgia on our passport. On the same day, we continued the journey to South Sandwich for another 3 days. It was getting cold when we headed south, and we began to see iceberg and whales. After a 3-day trip, we saw Thur Island on South Sandwich at the end of January 16th. In the early morning on January 17th, we started preparation of landing. Okay, this is a map of Thur Island. It is volcanic island, and the peak is 700 meters high. Here's the peak. Most of the island around here is steep, and it only has flat peninsula at the southeast end, like here. And all of the DXpedition operation were performed here, and the Argentinian military base was also here. Our first survey team landed at the bay west of Peninsula, here. And we decided main team landed from the cliff at the north of Peninsula, like here. Here's a very steep cliff. I will show you the photo later. 3 of the team, including myself, went to the island as the first team to find the landing point. All wore the immersion suit to prevent the case dropping into the freezing water, which killed us in a minute or two. Here we go. This is our first landing point, which is occupied by thousands of penguins and seals. No special landing equipment. So we decided to land from the north side. Main team and equipment landed from the 5 to 6 meter high cliff at the north of the peninsula. You see the height, and this is exactly the same same landing point at the previous DXpedition, VP8THU. The sea was rough, and it is not easy to land heavy equipment like this. This is you see that this is a 3.5 kilowatt generator. All of team and the equipment went up this way. As soon as we landed, we started to build our tent next to the penguins. You see there are penguins sitting here. Weather was not so bad there, but very changing. When we finished 2 tents, it started snowing like this. You see it's the middle of summer. The peninsula is also full of penguins, of course, like this. This is just next to our camp. We often have snow in the night, and it covered the ground in the morning, like this. High band antenna were mounted on the edge of the cliff at the north side for lower elevation angles. Like here you see the yagis. Here is the 4 square vertical for 40. This is the 80 meter phase vertical. Rising 160 meter vertical is not easy, but we managed to set 2 element phase vertical. Here's the overview of the low band verticals. This is the overview from the middle of the mountain. You will see the peninsula is very flat. This is the peninsula what I'm talking, and sharp cliff here, like here. It's very sharp cliff at the north side. These red domes, and actually there are 2 tents our camp, and if probably you can see some antennas here, and this will be the generator maybe, and of course. In the middle of the mountain, it's full of penguins like this. There are penguins nests everywhere in the island. It is breeding season and many small babies are seen in the island like this. There are also a lot of new couples. Anyway, in the morning of January 18th, we started operation on the band for which the antennas were up. Of course, operation was 24/7, so neither dark and cold. We had a second tent, which was for sleeping in the kitchen. We prepared easy food and hot drinks by ourselves here. And of course, we also have to washing dishes. This is our sleeping condition. Temperature is around freezing point and no heater. So if you have good sleeping bag for the freezing temperature, it's gonna be so big problem. Maybe. We have daily feedback from pilots by email through satellite phone. We had snow most of the day at night. All of the camp was powered by these generators. We had a lot of difficulties on generator. Yeah, on January 24th, a big snowstorm hit us. We got 1 meter snow in one night. Penguins were also covered with snow. Life is not easy here. Some operators were locked inside of the operation tent for a whole night. Antennas were damaged. You see this is one of the yagi. There's another yagi. It looks completely vertical. It's almost completely vertical. More antenna were damaged. I think it's 160 meter vertical. It's bent here. So we tried to fix all of the antennas. We also had to dig snow to find something. Actually, this is the tent for toilet. On January 25th, we repaired all the antennas and started operation again. However, in the evening of that day, the Captain Nigel declared an emergency, ordered everyone to evacuate the island as soon as possible. He found ice floe was moving to block the strait between the islands. We might be locked inside of the two islands. This is a satellite photo of the ice blockage. Many pieces of ice from the south to block a channel between two islands. So this is the Tour Island, and this is Cook Island, just next to the Tour Island. So we went from south side to here to land here, but a lot of such small piece of ices came from the south. I mean from Antarctic, because of wind flow, and it's filling this strait by ices. In such case, we will be blocked inside of this small area between two islands and ice. All of us evacuated as soon as possible. The following day, we decided to leave as soon as possible. We came back to the camp at 4 o'clock to pack everything. Everything shall go back from the cliff, including heavy equipment. Of course, everything have to go down the cliff, vertical cliff. The water is very rough. So, VP8STI operation was finally finished suddenly, with total 55,000 contacts. 70% of them are on CW, 25% are on the SSB, and 3,000 on the RTTY. 55% of them are with Europe, 30,000 contacts. With Dutch station, we had 460 contacts, more than 300 on CW, and about 110 on SSB. This is 0.8% of total and 1.4% of Europe. We evacuated from South Sandwich in safe, fortunately, and voyaged 3 days back to South Georgia. When we arrived at South Georgia, weather was so nice and warm. There were no snow on the ground. We felt it's heaven comparing to South Sandwich. You see, there's no snow. It looks very good weather and good condition like spring. Nature welcomed us. Penguins, baby seals. So we started set up the camp. Setting up in South Georgia was very smooth, and we started operation within 6 hours on January 29th. We set up 6 stations. Yagis are put on beach. Here. You see the 3 yagis at least here. The phase particle 160 as well. 40 meter 4 squares and 80 meter 2 element per phase particle. There are thousands of baby seals. They are playing in the water. And some king penguins. That's a big one. And as a seal. Comparing this scenic in South Sandwich, South Georgia looks relaxing. It looks like summer in North Europe, I think. South Georgia was the whaling base until 1960s. There are many abandoned buildings on the coast. Although beginning at that time is empty now. Another beautiful scenic of the island. Another beautiful abandoned whaling station in the bay. Yeah, we also had input from the pilot station every day through the satellite email and at the VP8SGI as well. Okay, this is a typical operating position in South Georgia as well as Sandwich. Equipped by the K3 and per amplifier from aircraft and logging PC. All were powered by generators as well. Unfortunately, due to very shaped terrains, we often had strong winds and they damaged our antennas. And like this. Almost every day. So finally, all of the 5 masts we brought was destroyed like this. Tent was also damaged due to high wind. We repaired it every day. Low band antennas were damaged as well. Then, on February 6th, a strong snowstorm hit us suddenly. Antennas were damaged again. A lot of snowfall. The wind was getting stronger and more antenna was damaged. I think this is 160 particle. And more. Oh, it's Yagi's completely fall down. Finally, the wind gets stronger as 80 knots and the tent was collapsed at the midnight. We were forced to stop operation. We could not continue to operate anymore. We waited for weather getting better. You see, this is the tent. How flat, you can see how flat it is. At the same time, a yacht anchored at the bay had the problem due to high wind. You see, it's stuck. It's wrecked. The crew of brave hearts assisted the yacht to survive. Anyway, we succeeded to come back to the boat in safe. In the midday of February 7th, we started packing and leave South Georgia in the evening. So, again, our operation was forced to terminate suddenly. VP8 SGI finished with 80,000 contacts, approximately 80% CW, 25% SSB, and 6,000 RTTY. Contact with Europe is 47%, 39,000. With PAs, we had 550 contacts, 400 on CW, 100 on SSB, and 43 on RTTY. It is 0.7% of total and 1.4% of Europe. So altogether, 13 operators made almost 140,000 contacts during 16 days operating time. After vacation, we had 5 days voyage back to Falkland. Finally, we arrived to Falkland safely. We stayed a week in Falkland and enjoyed relaxing and some casual-style radio operation. You also know you were active at VP8 IDX, or personally I was in the VP8 RHF. So here, at the end of this expedition, this presentation, I will introduce all of the team members by one. This is readers: Paul N6PSE and Dave K3LP. So VP8 All-Stars. Fourth one is Dr. Mike, K9AJ. He is a long-time player of the expedition, and you might have worked him many times on the band. Dima, LN9USU, another active DXpedition, good CW operator. Dave, WD5CLV, SSB team leader. Jay, K40E, he is also popular in the expedition. Dr. Alice, W7XU, he joined both BP8 and held an DX trip. Oh, he's very tough. Ned, AA7A, CW team leader, also a very active contester. So this is John, myself, JH4RHF, RT2 team leader, and also an engineer to fix any problem. You can imagine how tough my life is. Axel, DR6KVA, the CW machine, sitting at the operating position for 12 hours without any break, even without any water. Roger, N4RR, the CW man. David, W5XU, good ore engineer and good operator. David, W6DR, he worked RTTY. David, K3LP, co-leader and powerful man. You may know him. And at the end, again, Paul, N6PSE, co-leader. This trip didn't happen without him. Typical manager. He's the man. At the end, I appreciate all who worked us and all who made the contribution to this trip. This trip was ambitious and expensive. It might not happen without donations by many crowds, organizations, and individuals. Here are some logos of our sponsors. Thank you very much.